Democrats were like, oh my God, wow, hey, political violence has no place in this country. They at least gave it a little bit of time and then went back to being batshit crazy. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. He's an existential threat to democracy. When you use those words, it lands in the frontal cortex of crazy fucking people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome aboard the Max Afterburner podcast, sponsored, powered, brought to you by the No Fallen Heroes universe, Sacred Warrior Fellowship, and the actual universe. It's going to be a tough one. Well, it'll be a good one and a tough one. I forget what episode this is. We're over our century mark, over 120, 130 podcasts. Not too often do I start with a prayer, but man, this country's in a bad place. We're gonna dig into some of that, and I'm gonna give you my potential solutions to the bad, so we can get back on track as a people. But God, please help. And obviously, God is infinite love, light, energy, consciousness, the ultimate consciousness. So all of this, I don't have faith. I have a belief. I have a direct experience, and I know all of this is happening for a reason, exactly how it's supposed to, when it's supposed to. And I know that doesn't resonate with some of you, but it does with me. So let's start with some palate cleansers, because based on the past week, 2 weeks, it's been pretty brutal. I was trying to get into the studio here to knock out a debrief of our third Sacred Warrior Fellowship retreat here in the great state of Florida, the Sunshine State. My beautiful bride had knocked out the first two. I went on this one as a steward of Sacred Warrior Fellowship to sit and hold space for some incredible individuals, man. I can't wait for you to meet these people. They're doing their integration. We got 4 heroic veterans, former fighter pilot who transitioned to cargo. We got Army Apache. We got an Indiana Guard guy. Navy dude, and the civilian. So Bruce is one of our civilians to join our fellowship, to join our church, and all of these men are going to have some incredible stories to tell you. I'm going to have them as guests on the podcast coming up. I want them to stay in their integration bubble for now and continue their healing journey. So let's debrief that first. Let's start with the good, man. Just so honored, humbled to be doing this work through Sacred Warrior Fellowship. Obviously, the foundation. I think most of the vets on this past retreat were grant recipients from No Fallen Heroes Foundation. So that's always cool. So we're doing the good work in that foundation. Quick reminder: we're heading to Aspen. October 3rd is the Aspen Flight Academy Gala. Love going out to Aspen. This time of year, man, I really hadn't flown in the mountains in the Navy. I can't remember flying in the Rockies or Vermont in October, right? All the leafers. So for last year's Aspen Flight Academy Gala, just flying in the Rockies in October, it was one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen in my life. The reds, the yellows, the hues, the oranges, the mountains look like they're on fire. It's spectacular. And it's grounding, right? Why are the leaves changing? Winter's coming, and then spring. It's a cycle. It's a circle. It is us. So spectacular. If you want to fly in Aspen and support one of our nonprofits, reach out to me, man. Last year was fantastic. I opened with a low flyby, low approach with Gucci, Foley, Blue Angel. If you ever watched the name of the A&E thing, Around the World with the Blues or whatever it was called, man, 1992, they went to Moscow, right? After the wall fell, what happened? We were actually friends with the former Soviet Union. We had a window of opportunity to be friends. East Germany, West Germany, one Germany. Russia, hey man, what's this capitalism thing and freedom thing all about? The MIC, the military industrial complex, couldn't let peace. They need a boogeyman. And here we are, closer and closer to war with NATO, man. Some drones, Russian drones, hit Poland, accident on purpose. Who knows? It's a NATO country. They've invoked Article 4. Article 5 is we're all at war. President Trump promised to end the war in 24 hours. Here we are 9 months in. Anyway, let's stay on path with. So come fly with me out in the Rockies. I'll be out there for like a week, and then I'm going to fly down and see my boy Jack in Boulder. I think it's Parents' Weekend. Maybe not. It's his 21st birthday, so he's going to have his first alcoholic beverage legally. And then my beautiful bride and I go to a football game. I think Matthew and Keely are going to come as well. So looking forward to that. The next time we'll be out in the Rockies to do some flying is the middle of December for the NHL alumni game. Third year, it's even bigger. Each year it's gotten bigger. First year was awesome. Last year was even better. Now it's the place to be. Aspen, 11 through 14 December. Do the flyby to open the NHL alumni game to the anthem, and boom. It's just a whole week of really cool events. If you're a hockey fan, player, supporter, that's where you want to be to meet some cool folks, and we can do some flying then too. Okay, so the retreat, the ceremony, it's part of my healing journey as well. It's so cool to see these, in this case, these men who believe they were broken, either in body, in spirit, in mind, physical issues, mental challenges, alcohol, battles. It's just so incredible to see them show up to the retreat, right? Everybody's a little standoffish and, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And to see them leave Sunday afternoon crying and hugging each other, looking like different human beings, looking 180 degrees out from when they showed up. Wait until you hear from my brother Dario, an Army Apache pilot, and an absolute horrific experience in Afghanistan, and what happened on the Sacrament. There will not be a dry eye when you hear his story. It was incredible. Helps me heal. That's a lot though, man. I Susie and I and Teresa, our beautiful new steward at Sacred Warrior Fellowship, we got to keep an eye on each other too. We have to give each other mutual support. Zoya was there to help us, and because you do take on a lot of energy when demons cast you out, when demons are being released, we gotta put the mask on ourselves too every once in a while to freshen up. But I'm gonna let all of those gentlemen tell their stories when they want to tell their stories. But man, my phone, if you go look on Sacred Warrior Fellowship on Instagram, you'll see, and with their permission, I posted it. Our text thread. A week solid after the retreat, they were hitting me up each morning. They were hitting each other up each morning about how different they felt, how life was different. I'm not going to read them all. Go to Sacred Warrior Fellowship Instagram and check those out. Or I think I collabed. You can look on my mine as well. But make sure you follow Sacred Warrior Fellowship. We're building the infrastructure. We're getting our website up and all that good stuff. Next Sacred Warrior Fellowship Retreat here in Southeast Florida, October 24, 25, 26. All faiths, everybody is welcome. Veterans, first responders, families, and civilians. You are welcome. We will help you. We'll get out of the way, but help you remember the divine within. You are not broken. If this is your first podcast, you've been missing out, baby, but welcome aboard. Go listen to Max Afterburner, episode number 7, my first debrief with the sacraments. God does not make imperfect things. That's simply not his MO. Underneath your shame, your trauma, your regret, your drugs, your alcohol is a perfect piece of God. You're a drop in the ocean of God, and just because you think you're in a dropper right now does not mean you are still not part of the ocean, part of God. We'll take that dropper and put you right back in. So if you're interested, shoot us an email, info@sacredwarriorfellowship.com. The November retreat, get my dates right here, November, I think it's 14, 15, 16. Obviously not around Thanksgiving, and obviously not earlier, because that's when the, whatchamacallit is, the October retreat. So, okay. Good stuff. So, great retreat. We'll get the formal debrief as we go. Let's keep going with a little bit of good. Flew to Houston as horrific stuff was going on, but we'll stick with the good and we'll get to the horrific stuff. But flew to Houston for a great event, a fundraiser for Americans for Ibogaine. Governor Rick Perry, 2-term governor from the great state, not a state, Whiz, it's the Republic of Texas. He was Donald Trump's energy secretary. He also ran for president. So got to hang out with Rick Perry, Air Force C-130 pilot. I told him he's barely on our side as an Air Force guy. My brother Marcus Luttrell, and his beautiful bride Mel were there. And then Morgan, his brother, and now my new brother, Congressman Morgan Luttrell, was there as well. Had a great time. You can go see pictures on my Instagram account. And Congressman Dan Crenshaw. Not a Crenshaw fan, folks. 2 strikes with me and you're out. I don't, he's got a weird vibe. I don't know if he's got Navy SEAL, you're an F-18 pilot shit going on. And it's interesting because when I've seen him talk a couple times, and when he's talking about this effort, he's like, I've never done it, but all my buddies have done it and it's saved and changed their lives and it's been awesome for them. I'm like, and? Now, I get it. If this is not calling to you, you won't do it because it's not calling to you. If it's calling to you, you should do it, or you should at least listen. But this is the second time I've met a man, and I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Congressman Crenshaw, if you're ever listening to this, maybe you've had 2 bad days the both times that I've met you, but don't know what your deal is, man. But anyway, other than that, fantastic mission. Listen to that. Americans for Ibogaine. My other brother that was there was Dr. Martine Polanco from the Mission Within, where I sat with the sacrament for the first time. Just had a great call with Dr. Martine before I came into the studio. We will be implementing the sacrament of Ibogaine into Sacred Warrior Fellowship. A little bit more infrastructure required. But it's going to happen. It would infuriate me to send people to Costa Rica, to Mexico, to sit with Ibogaine. How about Americans for Ibogaine? How about, you guys know me, it is a sacrament in Sacred Warrior Fellowship. We are 508c1a, exercising our God-given right, not government right, our God-given right to religious freedom. We will do it safe. We will do it respectfully. We will follow protocols, safeguards, but it is our sacrament, and it reconnected me with God after being lost. You want to talk about the prodigal son? It's too long. Whiz is a shorter call sign. You can call me Prod, maybe. I was the prodigal son. And man, God welcomed me home with open arms. So 2 good things. Great retreat. And then great event with Americans for Ibogaine. Good group of, I didn't meet Brian. I haven't met Brian Hubbard yet. Seems like a great American doing some good stuff for Ibogaine. So good things happening, man. Really, really, really good things. And absolutely horrific things. Iryna I swear to God, Iryna, we will not forget you. And on behalf of this country, I am sorry. We failed you. We let you down. And it's always interesting because when somebody passes, we'll talk about Charlie in a couple minutes, but Charlie and Iryna, people are like, oh, pray for their souls. It's a great, I love when people say that, but guess what? They don't need our prayers. They are praying for us. Iryna, Charlie are in a perfect state of great, the highest, the ultimate consciousness. And if anything, they're praying for us. So thank you, Charlie and Iryna, because we're still in it, man. Long-time listeners, first-time callers, long-time listeners of this podcast know that I believe this is, it's not hell. I'll say it's at least purgatory. War, drugs, crime, hatred, racism. This is purgatory, man. On the sacrament of 5-MeO-DMT, I felt what is supposed to be our natural default state. Absolute bliss, oneness with each other and God. But the ego starts building up that belief in separation. Listen to A Course in Miracles. There was a great Course in Miracles brief today, and that's exactly right, man. You know what sin is? Sin is the belief that you're separate from God, from each other. Do unto others as you would do unto me. Why? You are me. I am Iryna. I am Charlie Kirk. You are as well. Jesus said, I and the Father are one. He wasn't claiming some spiritual chain of command. He was saying, hey, man, we're all one with the Father. So let's dig into some of the, and I hate going here, but we have to put this stuff in the open to clean it. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And I'm gonna throw you for a little bit of a loop here, but before I dig into Iryna's murder and Charlie's assassination, let me lead with this. The man who stabbed that poor, innocent young woman 3 times in the neck. The shooter, the assassin of Charlie Kirk. I pray for them. I pray that they both fall to their knees at some point and truly beg God for forgiveness. If they are sincere, it will be given to them. I promise you. God is full of infinite compassion and for forgiveness. Ask and you shall receive. I pray for the assassin's parents. My God, could you imagine being I'm a father. You love your children. Could you imagine? I can't. The father's a sheriff, a police officer. Could you imagine? And he ended up bringing his own son in. So in all of the hate and vitriol, I want to remind you of something. God loves the person you hate the most on this planet as much as you. When you recognize that, one more time, God loves the person you hate the most on this planet as much as you. You will begin to understand. You'll begin to heal, because I was not like this. And clearly, throughout history, a lot of people have not been like this. The North, damn rebels, God is on our side. Damn Yankees, God's on our side. Let's kill each other 600,000 people later. God is always on our side. God does not have sides. So if it's boiling over, folks, I guarantee you, if you can send some love, some compassion, some grace, they're the people that need it the most. I'm old enough to remember Pope John Paul II. What was that guy's name? Mehmet Aliaga. Why would I be able to remember that? I remember that because it was all over the news. Why? Guy pulls out a gun and he shoots the Pope. How far have you strayed on your path in life to shoot the fucking Pope? That's like you're on an express train to hell, going down. Or not. What did the Pope do? Jumped in his Pope-mobile, went to the prison. There's a famous picture of him sitting in the corner, away from all the microphones and cameras, just a far picture of the Pope, sitting across from the man who shot him, who wanted to, clearly, you don't shoot somebody if you're not going to kill him. The ultimate act of forgiveness. I remember a clip, man, I need to do better research on it, but I saw it, I think I've seen it twice in my life, and each time I am crying. It's a sentencing hearing. It's a female judge. Maybe it's in Dallas, or I don't know where it is, man. Try and find it. But this young African-American, I think forget the national, I don't know if he Latino, but the parents of the victim, this young man who was murdered by this other young man. And at the sentencing hearing, the father of the victim said, "Your Honor, can I hug him?" And this grizzled old lady judge, you could see the look on her face like, is this guy going to break his neck? Well, she didn't know what to do. But God worked through this woman, and she said, yeah. And he walked up to him, this handcuffs guy, he's going away for the rest of his life, and he hugged him, and he forgave him. See, I'm even. I think that he was the same age as his son. He's like, he's my son. He's my son, and I forgive him. In the depths of this man's sorrow and anguish, he could find compassion for somebody he should have hated. Now, don't get me wrong, man. In the past 2 weeks, my ego's been on fucking fire, and I've had to thank God for meditation. Thank God for my shameless plug, Maverick Minds. Look at that product placement. Don't get me wrong. I'm not some flowing robes on the top of a mountain chambro. I've been furious for the past couple weeks, but man, I promise you, in the silence of my mind, which has been tough lately, to try and stay centered. And I promise you the world would be a much better place if more people could do this. God, just scrolling on X for 5 minutes, I'm like, my God, we're fucked. Unless people become the pilot in command of their aircraft. You signed for your jet, man. Take responsibility for your healing. If you're triggered, guess what? That's your response. Your triggers are your responsibility, nobody else's. Ask yourself, why am I acting? Why do I feel this way? That person is me, and I am him, and vice versa, man. I remember after, the 30-day point in my ibogaine integration, pink cloud phase, hugging trees in the yard. Susie's like, why are you hugging the tree? I'm like, it's the most beautiful thing ever. Look at it, 30 days of bliss. 30 to 60 sucked. Why is that homeless guy on the exit ramp of I-95? That dude's me. There but for the grace of God go I. Why did that guy just kill somebody? Why are there poor people? Why are there homeless? Why is there racism, hate? Why? Right? That feeling was one of unity. If you recognize that, and again, man, I'm not some Bible beater, but let there be light. When from nothingness, all of a sudden, this universe. Do you know that the first instant, the first second of the universe, that scientists break up into like one trillionth of a second? I'm like, what? So the universe appeared in less than a blink of an eye, and they sliced that up into. You can't even imagine how thin they slice a second that the universe happened. But folks, every atom in your body is from that. We're all in the same fucking family, people. What you do to the least of my brothers, you do unto me. Period. So the politics of Iryna, because it's interesting, because people, when they don't watch the clip, don't watch Iryna. If you did already, I'm sorry. Or Charlie's. Don't. I made the mistake under Barack Hussein Obama. Remember those horrifically poor souls in orange jumpsuits having their heads sliced off by fucking ISIS scumbags? I didn't want to bring that up, man, but what I'm saying is I made the mistake of watching that years ago, and then these two, man. Here's what I'm getting at. Iryna was murdered weeks before the video got out. The mayor of Charlotte thanked her media partners. Wait, politicians have media partners? She thanked her media partners for not releasing the video, and somehow it got out. Thank God for Elon Musk and his independent platform, or we'd know none of it. They tried to hide the slaughter of an innocent 23-year-old Ukrainian immigrant. The woman fled a war zone only to be slaughtered on a train by a 13-time criminal who was let out of jail the most recent time by a magistrate who didn't even go to law school. Did you know this? In the state of stupid fuck, you don't have to be an attorney to be a magistrate. Go dig into the lady. Her side business? Oh, I run a company that takes people on parole and stuff like that and puts them through a bunch. Okay, that's fucking fantastic. I'm going to release you. Just sign this paper that you're going to appear. But you have to go through my company on the side here to do your parole stuff. And, oh my God. Stabbed in the neck 3 times. The look in her eyes as she looked at this demon. Ladies and gentlemen, there is evil on this planet. We got free will, and some of us use it for evil. Now, there was 4 people around her. 3 dudes and a lady. They did nothing. I'm wrong. They did do something. They got up and fucking left. Don't give me they must have been in a little bit of shock. Shut the fuck up. You see a guy stab a young lady in the neck 3 times, and your first instinct is to get up and leave? That's not shock, that's cowardice. Fuck you. How dare you try and defend these people? It's called the Daniel Perry, the former, you're never a former Marine, the Marine in New York City in the subway who got charged. Now, I need to stay centered in this podcast because I will send those people grace and love. But that little girl bled out on the floor of a train, dying alone. She would have most likely died anyway, Could you have held her hand? Could you have said some prayers for her, with her, to let her know she wasn't dying alone on the floor of a train? Those people need to do some self-reflection, man. Again, I'm not Superman, but I swear, oh my God. That poor lady, how about going forward in the future? If they didn't react, how about we all take a moment, like you see something like that again, punch the guy in the fucking face. Drop him. Do something. Florida, what was it, last week? We got a great Supreme Court ruling. We're an open carry state now. You ever notice that it's usually in these Democrat shitholes that this stuff is going on? That's weird. Not too many of this shit going on in Texas and Florida. Big fuck around and find out state. So Iryna, my God, I am so sorry for you. And please pray for me, for us, that we don't let something like that happen again. I am done coddling criminals. Man, we used to have state mental hospitals. We used to lock criminals up. No cash bail. 13 times this guy. Enough. The experiment failed. We're done. You wanted to try it your way for a little bit. Now we're going to go back to reality. You failed. Let's send a social worker. Defund the police. My God, I can't. The 2020 to 2024 is going to be like looked at by historians like, what the fuck? What happened? Charlie Kirk, the nice guy who wanted to talk. The guy wanted dialogue. How do you sit down and talk with your opponents? Don't fight. Don't, use force. Use words. They shot him in the fucking jugular. They shot him in the neck. I thank God he was dead instantly. In front of his wife, his children. I'm not even going to get into the celebration online. I can't. At least when Donald J. Trump got shot can you believe an eighth of an inch? And can you believe there are lunatics out there like, that was staged or he wasn't shot? Oh, he wasn't shot, but the volunteer fireman, Corey, that got his chest exploded and died, that was a psyop, or Trump didn't get hit. Oh my God, you people are nuts. You're nuts. If Trump hadn't turned his head at the last second, that would have been JFK. Where would this country be? Why do I bring up Trump? Because at least for, I'll be generous, a week, Democrats were like, oh my God, wow, political violence has no place in this country. They at least gave it a little bit of time and then went back to being batshit crazy. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. He's an existential threat to democracy. When you use those words, it lands in the frontal cortex of crazy fucking people. And it is a call to action. I'm done with the both sides bullshit. I got it written down. I don't have enough time left in the podcast to go through all the violence where it is not both sides. Oh, well, the senator in Minnesota, he was a Democrat. He was a Waltz appointee. He was furious that they voted to rescind benefits for illegal immigrants or whatever it was. Stop with the both sides. Enough. It's a lie. The dude's, this guy, I'm not even going to say his name. He's not worth it. Well, his parents are conservative Republican. Well, that should show you that the kid had a somewhat normal childhood and then went to fucking college.
living with a dude, a girl. See, I don't even know what it is. Like, it's a guy transitioning. And a fairy? The fuck are we talking about? 2020 to 2024, I think was it Keeley? I forget. One of my kids. There was a fairy in the fucking classroom. A litter box. You must make an accommodation for my child. He thinks he's a cat. Are you? So again, the left trying to tar this shooter as some sort of, he shot at Charlie Kirk because he wasn't right-wing enough. They had 0 days. Trump turns his head, gets nicked in the ear. Guy behind him dies. Couple days to a week. Charlie Kirk gets killed. Good. Here's my TikTok where I celebrate the murder of a fellow citizen. He deserved it. I am ashamed. I am embarrassed of the United States military. Barack Hussein Obama said he would fundamentally change this country. He fucking did. And he started with the United States military. If you made flag general, admiral under Obama, you need to be fired. Same thing for Biden. Trump was in there for 4 years. For 4 years, they were impeaching him. He's a Russian agent. He had no time to gut the rot in the Pentagon. But seeing the accounts of active duty personnel glorifying the death. And again, this just shows the failure of our educational system in this country. You're an idiot if you don't know what free speech means. The First Amendment is it prohibits the government from infringing on your free speech, you fucking morons. It has nothing to do with an employer. You can say whatever you want, and I can fire you. People are like, oh, so our people in the military don't have a right to free speech? No, they don't. If you're saying shit that is, you ready for this? Prejudicial to good order and discipline, you're out of my unit. We have a warfighting mission, not your bullshit. So stop with your stupidity about the First Amendment. You have no idea what you're talking about. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Did you guys sleep? Maybe you were the fucking furry taking a shit in the litter box in the back of the classroom. Learn something. Go back to civics class. You have no idea what you're talking about if you don't know the First Amendment. I do. Lost 16 brothers, 4 suicides, defending this country in the First Amendment. If you think that somebody deserves to be shot in the throat because of their beliefs, you should have no problems getting fired for yours. So stop it. It's maddening to me that people don't understand what freedom of speech means. It's like watching the movie, the first Top Gun. People would always ask me like, oh, well, could you do that in your fighter jet? I'm like, you can do anything once in a fighter jet. It might be your last flight. And then your wings are off your chest and you're driving for Truckmasters or flying rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong. So yeah, you have an absolute right to free speech. Say whatever the fuck you want. And when the consequences come, you accept them. Or maybe you don't. But anyway, man, so the Charlie Kirk thing's just an absolute horror. I didn't know, my daughter texted me. I didn't know my daughter Keeley, 18 years old, senior in high school, knew who Charlie Kirk was. You shot the moderate, folks. You shot the guy in the throat who just wanted to talk. Where do we go from here? Saw Kash Patel rip it in front of the Senate today with Adam Schiff and Spartacus Cory Booker. Guess what happened? Another FBI whistleblower. Operation Arctic Freeze, it was called. Was called. Google it. So for the past 4 years under Joe Biden, the FBI spent time going after concerned parents in school board meetings. They went after grandmothers praying at abortion clinics. The FBI was targeting conservative organizations, they were investigating Turning Point USA. They were investigating Charlie Kirk. Instead of investigating radical trans terror cells. Have you seen these people online now with their guns and their manifestos to kill? So instead of investigating those people, your FBI was going after parents and grandmothers and Republicans and Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. I remember Secretary of Defense Austin under Joe Biden and General Milley, Righteous Strike Milley. Remember the righteous strike? It's a righteous strike. We shot a drone into a car. It was 10 civilians looking for water and 7 children in it, which is a war crime. Oops, wasn't a righteous strike. So General Milley and Secretary Austin, what did they say like day one of the Biden administration was their number one priority for the defense of this nation? China? No. Russia, right? No. Drug cartels? No. Extremism in the ranks. They did a stand down. They scrubbed people's social medias. They said right-wing, they said extremism. But you know who they were talking about, right? They quietly released a report. Do your own research if you think I'm full of shit. They quietly released a report like a year or two later that said, yeah, after a very thorough, we found less than 100 like radicals in our ranks out of millions. They tore the Pentagon upside down looking for, of course, right-wing extremists. And it's funny that they said less than 100. They wanted to use the word 100 to make it sound like it might have been a lot. Less than 100 means it could have been 1. Could have been 99, but it wasn't. Turns out, ladies and gentlemen, they were looking for the wrong extremists, weren't you, General Milley and Secretary Austin? It appears, based on what's happened for the past week, this Department of War is full of extremists, just not the ones you were looking for. These people need to be booted out of the military. If you are celebrating the political assassination of somebody and you wear a uniform, you're gone. You know what's even more disturbing? As disturbing? The amount of nurses, doctors, teachers, and of course, government employees, because they got nothing else to do, waiting for their pension. Doctors, nurses, celebrating the murder of a father and a husband for his political beliefs. Don't these people take, what's it called? The hippopotamus oath, right? The Hippocratic Oath? Do no harm? I'm old enough to remember when Ronald Reagan was shot leaving the, was it the Marriott, the Sheraton in Washington, waving, boom, James Brady shot to the head, the cops, my God. It was funny at the time when Reagan wheeled into the operating room, jokingly said to all the surgeons, I hope you all are Republican. Everybody giggled, and the chief surgeon giggled back and said, today, Mr. President, we're all Republican. And they saved his life. Guess what? The guy who said, today we're all Republican, Mr. President, was actually not. He was a Democrat. But he helped save the president's life. Today, that's not funny. Today, some of you sick doctors might not. I can't believe healthcare. So, let me go back. What time is it? Got a little bit of time. Let's go back to the drone strike. Abbey Gate. Joe Biden surrendered to the Taliban. Hey, Americans, if you're stuck in Afghanistan, you got till this date and time to get to Abbey Gate, to the airport, or you're good luck getting home. Never leave a man behind. Means something to me, meant jack squat to Joe Biden. Abbey Gate. 13 Americans shredded. A corpsman, a soldier, Marines, 13 young Americans killed. What happened? 72 hours later, whenever it was? Drone strike. Milley, General Milley, hours later. That was a righteous drone strike. We got him. one potato, two potato, reporters in Afghanistan to the car. Oh my God, these are children. They killed 7 children and 3 adults with water jugs, and they were looking for water. That's a war crime. Guess what happened, though? Oh, the Pentagon investigated itself, and a year or 2 years later said, yeah, nobody's responsible. That was a fog of war, and shit happens. Wow. Could you imagine if Donald Trump did something like that? Adam Schiff's face would melt off. Why do I bring that up? Because this was on my things to talk about, and I'll knock it out real quick. As of this brief, because I saw it yesterday, Donald Trump has targeted 2 drug boats leaving Venezuela to bring drugs to this country that kill Americans. 100,000 fentanyl deaths last year. Richard Nixon had a higher level of consciousness with God, but I have some massive problems with this guy. The war on drugs, declaring the war on drugs. Well, yeah, let's make these mushrooms illegal since they make people love each other, and let's make weed illegal, and we'll blame African Americans with that so we can put them in. We'll put the anti-war people in jail with the psychedelics, and we'll put African Americans in jail with the weed, and we'll win. We'll call it a war on drugs. This is the first president in my lifetime that knows what the war means. This hasn't been a war on drugs. It's been a Vietnam on drugs. The people, the men and women on the front line in this country of the drug war, it's been a Vietnam. We're not going to give you the gloves off, and you're not going to be able to win. It's Vietnam. You can't attack the boats in Hanoi Harbor and whatever. I'm not even going to. The analogy is so perfect, just ask me. The point being is this. If we're going to call it a war on drugs, it's going to be a war on drugs. Democrats, they're crying for these drug people to get. People are like, you don't know who was in that boat. Do you not know that the ISAR and do you not know the assets that we have flying over Venezuela that they could do nothing about? We know where the dudes lived, what they ate for breakfast, where they stopped to get gas before they got on the boat. We know everything. Don't give me, and here's why I'm bringing this up. People are like, under what authority is he? That's illegal to do. 9/11, after 9/11, AUMF, authorized use of military force. If the president deems something a terrorist organization, he can go act. Did it. Do you remember under Trump the First? General Soleimani, in charge of the Iranian Republican Guard. Do you remember they were attacking our embassies in Iraq? General Soleimani, head of a terrorist organization that Obama should have killed but didn't, gets on a plane, lands in Iraq to go meet some of his evil doers to go kill more Americans in Iraq. Trump turned him into hair, teeth, and eyeballs with a drone strike. Democrats wanted to go to the guy's funeral. They were going ape shit that Trump did this. These are the same people, folks, who cheered when Barack Hussein Obama ordered drone strikes that killed Americans. Do you know this part of history? They might have taken up arms against the U.S. and other countries. They were Americans. For all of you who froth at the mouth about due process, tell me what due process Americans got to be killed by the president. No indictment, no grand jury, no indictment, no trial. He was judge, jury, and executioner. He killed Americans in drone strikes. Those same people that he's showing decisive leadership, that's to be commended, are the same people now flipping the fuck out that Trump's killing narco terrorists. Are you people that nuts? I mean, most of them are, but do you ever step outside of yourself and go, man, I'm a fucking hypocrite. I can't believe how much of a hypocrite I get. They don't. If you had no problems with the president, nowhere in my pocket copy of the Constitution does it say the commander-in-chief can kill an American. Nowhere. So if you've been wanking about due process with narco terrorists, but didn't have a word when Obama killed Americans, you can stick it up your ass. I'm sick of it. It's insane to me The hypocrisy. Me or people I know or whatever to fuck up, I'll call it out. Total tangent right now. You ready for this? The TikTok ban. Donald Trump's been breaking the law for 9 months. The law says shut it down. Or you got 90 days. If there's a deal that's close or there's an offer, you got 90 days to make a deal. We're going on 9 months. There has been no, we're close to a deal. It's bullshit. Donald Trump's been breaking the law for 9 months. There. I ain't no raging partisan. I'm not a hypocrite. When I see this stuff, I call it out. Shut, especially after the past week and seeing the scum on TikTok, shut it down. The fact that the Chinese government are not letting this go in negotiations, they want to keep owning it, should tell you something about what's on your phone. The Chinese government is using that to foment everything that's going on. How's that land? Do a little research, folks. Go take a look at Chinese TikTok. You know what's on it for their kids? Engineering videos, math videos, military videos of how to march and you love Mao or whatever his name is. That's on their TikTok. You know what they put on our TikTok? To my daughter type of stuff like, oh, you're getting a little fat. The stuff that we have on our TikTok versus Chinese TikTok. And as a military man, good on you. I mean, ballsy, brilliant strategy. That's how you do it, man. That's how I do it. Good on you. And we're letting them do it. The fact that the Chinese won't relinquish TikTok should tell you everything you need to know. These Chinese bots are on there fomenting all this hate and everything. One of the easiest jobs in the world has got to be Vladimir Putin's like KGB dude and G's dude. Why? They got to be looking at what's going on in our country and going like, are we doing this? I mean, of course, if I was their dude, I'd be like, yeah, it's through my valiant efforts that America is imploding and destroying itself. Good job, Whiz, you're promoted. But if they're truthful, you just sit there and go, actually, no, they're doing this to themselves mainly. I mean, remember after years of investigation, it turned out that the Russians might have bought like 200 grand in Facebook ads in 2016. That's won the election. Okay, right. Oh my God. So anyway, man, let's end on a high note. We need a palate cleanser, man. We need a scrubbing. I'm telling you though, folks, I've struggled. It sucked coming out of ceremony and a great weekend back to this, to Iryna, to Charlie Kirk, to watching Kash Patel testify today in front of the Senate. And oh my God, you would think there'd be some self-reflection. Is there a sane Fetterman? I thought that guy was an oaf, an idiot. He's like a Republican now. I mean, Joe Manchin, conservative Democrat there is no such thing as a conservative Democrat. They're Republicans now. They've gone so far. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, just endorsed the Muslim socialist communist for mayor. How do we pull out of this nosedive? I didn't even mention the 24th year anniversary of 9/11. You guys, most of you should know my story. I won't dig into it now for the sake of time, but man, here's why I bring it up. Could you imagine? And so she endorsed, the governor of New York endorsed a Muslim socialist communist for mayor on September 13th. Could you imagine building a time machine, hopping in that time machine and going back to September 13th, 2001, to ground zero? Imagine walking up to the fence where all the families, the husbands, the wives, the moms, dads, the brothers, sisters were putting up flyers on a fence. Have you seen my husband? Have you seen my wife? Have you seen our child? And imagine going up to those people, those New Yorkers, and saying, I'm from the future. I just want to let you know 24 years from now, the next mayor of this city is going to be a Muslim socialist communist. Don't tell me never forget. Do not tell me, never. I will never forget. Many others have absolutely forgotten. Barack Hussein Obama once famously said, elections have consequences. Well, Chicago, Charlotte, New York, LA, enjoy your consequences. I feel like a parent, man, watching your kid walk towards the stove. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. I'm telling you, and the kid goes close. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. They go closer, and then you just kind of sit there and watch them, and then they do it, they burn their hair, and they start crying. And you go, hope that hurt, because you won't do it again. I hate that I have to be like that, but these people are children. Keep voting for the things that are causing the problems, and nothing will change. But ending on a high note, folks, how about we heal? Like I said, coming out of ceremony to this sucked. And I started this by telling you, all of us have had a tough couple weeks, unless you celebrated all of this, and then you're nuts. But I've had to up my meditation game. I've had to up my maverick mind. And I've had to delete tweets. I'm like, man, stop. Old me, fucking, oh man. Thank God that guy died. Thank God that guy. But there are flare-ups, man. I am a human. I have an ego, but I have to stay true to who I truly am. Not that guy in the past that would be even more fucking fired up than I am. If you don't know Whiz prior to the sacrament, this ain't fired up. This is not nothing. Trust me. I can't even. I can't. But how about you become the PIC, the pilot in command of your aircraft? How about you take responsibility for you, for your healing? I'll never forget, I did consulting for this is how old I am, the St. Louis Rams. It was Coach Fisher. And I was walking around, I was giving them a keynote later in the day, but I went early to get a feel of things and stuff like that. I'm walking past like the defensive room and the offensive room and special teams, and every one of those rooms on the whiteboard only had one sentence. Do your fucking job. Those were the exact words, and your was underlined. And, you know, it's kind of obvious, but when I was talking to Coach Fisher, I'm like, I just want to ask you about that saying, do your fucking job, underlined your. He said, well, Whiz, if everybody on this team does their job on the field and they do it to the best of their ability, we win. There's no way we can lose. We lose when they start doing other people's jobs or slack off on theirs. So, ladies and gentlemen, do your fucking job. Heal you. Be the change you want to see in this country and on this planet. I'm trying to be the change that I want to see. Ladies and gentlemen, when the airplane depressurizes, you put the mask on who first? Yourself. This plane is depressurized right now. We are at altitude, and some people are getting hypoxic and getting nuts. Put the mask on yourself first, and then try and help those people. At the end of the day, folks, I'm going to remind you, and this is more for me as it is for you. God loves the person you hate the most on this planet. Again, to Charlie's killer, to Iryna's murderer, to the people who I disagree with vehemently politically, I still love you because you are me and I am you. We are all on the same team. We are all made in God's image. We are all underneath this funk perfect. And if we can get back to that, if we can get back to being centered, love thy neighbor, do unto others. Remember that the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. and it's for all of us to share, I think the world would be a much better place. I invite you to join us at Sacred Warrior Fellowship and return home. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you're hedged. Give some love to people who you think are your enemies, and fights on. Whiz, out.